Hey guys, we're back with another submitted breakdown, this time over text. Some background information here. Neil approached this girl named Alice on a bus. They had a good conversation and he was able to get her number. And in fact, Neil even had a first date with Alice, but after the first date, things went south. So in this video, we're gonna be looking at what Neil could have done better in his texts. Keep in mind that we do not have all the information here. We weren't there with him on the date, so we can't critique that, but we can look at the structural things he is doing with his text. Keep in mind that we don't have all of the information here in place. Obviously, we weren't on the date with him, but we can look at the text and see what structurally he could have done better. Let's start from the top. Hey, it's Neil. We talked on the bus. It was nice meeting you. Hey, it was nice meeting you too. His opening message here is all right. It could have been a lot stronger if he mentioned something that he remembered from the conversation about her specifically. The line as it is isn't terrible, it's just very plain and generic. And you would be surprised just how fast a girl forgets about you even an hour after meeting her. Most girls give out their number like candy, so you need a reason to stand out, especially when you message her back. And you can do that by again referencing something about the conversation or something about her that you remember when you send your first text to her. Now with that said, things are working out for Neil here, even though he didn't do that. What are you up to tomorrow? Anything interesting? Nothing interesting in particular, haha, I just have work, how about you? So that was actually pretty bold. Of course, we don't know how the conversation went in person when they met on the bus. Maybe it was really good, maybe they connected over a lot of things, but asking for a girl to meet up with you right after your first message is a pretty risky thing to do. Personally, I would only do that if I really had a sense from meeting her in person that we connected really well. Neil's strategy here is to kind of feel around and see if she's, well, free tomorrow to ask her out in a more direct way. Normally, I just recommend being direct from the get-go because look, she already knows that you're trying to ask her out. Why not just show the extra confidence to do it? I want to stress though that these rules of course can be broken, and they're not even rules, they're just my opinion. And as we can see for Neil, he's actually making headway here. Things are going well for him. I'm just giving you my perspective on this and you can take it or leave it. So Neil says, same, just chilling. Do you have some time tomorrow to hang out? I'd love to get to know you better. Sorry for the late reply, just got off work, but I don't think tomorrow will work because I'm really busy. How about Friday? Sometimes guys mistake a girl being busy as disinterest because a lot of times girls will use the excuse that they're busy because they don't want to see you. So how you know whether she actually wants to see you but is busy or she's just flaking, well, it's all about how she responds. If she gives you a specific time to meet up later, like, hey, I'm busy now, but how about Friday? She's saying, hey, I'm actually busy and I do want to see you. Here's a time that works for me. As opposed to her just giving a vague answer. The more vague the answer, by the way, the less specific when she tells you why she can't get together, the less of a chance that she's interested in seeing you. If she says, I'm busy this week, but maybe next week, that's pretty vague. Or if she says, I'm just busy, I don't know when we can get together, that is extremely vague. So you can take that information and you have a good sense of whether she actually wants to see you or not. Neil says, I'll keep you posted closer to the day. Not sure if I have the time. She says, sounds good. Neil continues and says, hey, I'm free Friday after 7. Are you down to hang? She says, after 7 won't work for me actually. Shall we push it to Saturday? Again, she's being specific and not putting it off too far. If she's delaying it too far in the future, then you get a sense that she's not interested. But if just a couple days or a weekend, that's totally fine, especially if she's being specific. So he says, sure. What time works best for you? 12 p.m., sure, that works. Now, Neil actually did something extremely solid here, and that's when he responded to her saying, shall we push it to Saturday? His response was really good. It was just, sure. It's simple. It's concise. It's not overly exaggerated. It doesn't come off as desperate. It's just like, yeah, that's fine. And that's what you want to communicate through your texting is, look, you're just trying to get to know her. There's other people you could be spending your time with. You're relaxed, you're calm, you're stoic. You don't need to exude this insecurity like, oh my God, I'm actually gonna meet with a girl. Of course, that's not gonna help you. So the way you communicate that is by being concise and not using tons of exclamation points and not using tons of emojis and all these other little tools that I tell you in videos like this. It's all about coming off as relaxed. Your tone should be relaxed. And the reason why is pretty simple. It takes the pressure off of everything. There's no pressure on her. There's no pressure on you. It's just relaxed. He says, okay, cool, meet at Tim Hortons. Yeah, I'll see you there. So this is the part where Neil and Alice go on the date and the part that we don't have access to. From here on out, we're gonna look at the follow-up text conversation when he tries to get the second date And again, we don't see what happened at the date, so we can really only judge it based on the text that we see. And the reason this is helpful is because when we look at these text messages, there's a lot of errors in them that you can avoid when you go on a date with a girl and then you're trying to set up for the second date. Neil says, great time hanging out with you last Saturday. Would you be up to connecting again? Some time goes by, a week goes by. A, are you on the missing persons list? Where you been? We have a lot to talk about here, so let's start from the top. Neil literally sounds like a completely different person. There seems like there's no connection between these text messages and the ones we had read before, like literally a different person. All of a sudden, his grammar sucks. He's using words like would and things like a. There is a lack of congruency here. I don't know if this is his actual self or the version of him earlier in the conversation was his actual self, but there's two people that are in this guy's body. And I'm willing to bet that on the date, he probably didn't appear like either of these people, probably someone totally different, which says that at some point in this chain, he is not being authentic. You must be congruent. You, your text before the date, your text after the date, you in person during the date, you in person a week after the date, you in person a month after dating, you in person after a year after dating. You are you, so don't hide behind that that's not you. She's getting to know you because she's interested in you specifically. That's what we mean when we say be yourself. We mean respect your natural self and don't hold back out of insecurity. Because when you do show your real colors, she's not gonna recognize you. Now, let's go back to that grammar thing. We actually did a webinar recently called the How to Send the Perfect Tinder Opener webinar. And in it, we covered the science behind sending messages and what really helps you and what really hurts you in your opening message. So this one is my favorite. It's bad English. And in it, you can see this chart right here. Messages that have bad English and bad grammar get a big hit in terms of response rate. I mean, look at this. Even typing can't instead of can't with an apostrophe can lower your response rate up to 20-25%. That's huge. Okay, so using bad grammar, don't do it. It doesn't mean you need to be a grammar Nazi and put a period at the end of every sentence and dot all your I's, but try to avoid things like a and would and the conjoinment of two words that should have had a space in it. These things you definitely want to avoid. Okay, let's cycle it back and look at the A, are you on the missing person list? This is a re-engager. Neil sent this a week after he didn't hear back from her as a way to try to get her back into the conversation, and I get why he's doing it. In fact, I recommend that all guys do that to a degree with their messages. I certainly do. But how he did it was wrong. And the way that he did it was basically Googling a line and copy and pasting it in. It doesn't have any authenticity. What could he have done instead? Well, let's say that he was together with her on the date and they found out that they both have a big passion for, I don't know, Baroque art. He could have reached out in an authentic way by saying, hey Alice, I really enjoyed our conversation about the Baroque. I'm reaching out one more time. This tells her that he's actually interested in her. He's actually interested and appreciates her and appreciates the time that they had together. It's not just, hey, it's a booty call, right? It's not about that. That's weird and it's not gonna do him any favors, that's for sure. The other thing is that by saying I'm reaching out one more time or some variation of that, he's putting the ball in our court. I'm not desperate. I don't need you. I like the conversation we had. I liked you as a person. I'd like to keep talking, but I'm not going to be that guy that messages you 100 times or tries to win back your attention. I'm putting myself out there. This is the last time I'm gonna do it, and the ball is in your court. Again, that's relaxed. It takes all of the stress out of the situation, all the stress off of her, and lets her know like, hey, you're fine. You don't need her validation. You just want to get to know her. And you'd be surprised how effective that is. See how that communicates so much stronger than just saying, where you been? Well, all that said, we don't know what happened on the date. If he followed all the advice that I gave right in this video on his follow-up text, would it have made a difference in this particular situation? Well, who knows? We don't know what happened. However, if he maintained everything he's been doing, but he implemented the changes that I went over in this video with those follow-up texts over a period of time, I'm sure that he would see, as you would, that his results would increase. Okay, well, I hope that this was helpful, guys. By the way, if you have your own text messages or Tinder or OkCupid or whatever, and you want me to break them down, you can do it. Just send them to me at support@zerbiapp.com and I may be featuring them in a future video. Also, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube by clicking the logo that just popped up so you can get notifications when more videos like this come out. All right, guys, that's it for now, and I'll talk with you soon.